Hi, it's good to be back with you. My name is Ken Oliver. We're looking at creation, and today we're going to be looking at the second day of creation. On the first day, God created the heaven and the earth, and it was covered with water. And God created light, and the light He called day. The day was a regular 24-hour day, and the dark He called night. And it delineates for us down in verse 5, the evening and the morning were the first day. So very obviously setting up timekeeping and tracking days and nights. And then in verse 6 it says, "And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day." And so here we have the water that's on the face of the earth, and God places a firmament in there. And as we get through this passage of Scripture, through the whole first chapter, we'll begin to see what takes place in that firmament. But we've got water below the firmament, we've got the firmament, and we've got water above the firmament. And this is going to be crucial when we get over to Genesis chapter 6, 7, and 8, and we see the flood of Noah. This is going to be a crucial part of that. And so keep in mind what we're dealing with here. And so the evening and the morning were the second day. In verse 9, God's going to begin the third day of creation. Now, if you were going to create the earth, what would you do first? Remember, we're dealing here with intelligent design. And we're going to start to see a lot of the intelligence of it coming out. And it's real important that you understand how the Bible delineates creation, puts to rest a lot of the questions people have. And they say, could it really be 24-hour days? Well, yeah, it's awesome God that's doing it. And so as we begin to look at the third day of creation, what would you do first? I can tell you, I'm an impulsive kind of guy. I just kind of sometimes just act, and I have to be real careful to slow myself down and think things through, because if I were doing creation, the first thing that I would do, I would create a great big African male bull elephant. The big old ears and the tusks, and I'd create this great big elephant. I'd create one of the big whales, like the sperm whale, that's as big as a ship. I'd create a big white polar bear, pure white, not even dirty yet, just white polar bear. And then I wouldn't have any place to put them. I'd be standing there with an elephant in one hand and a whale tucked under my shoulder and a polar bear in the other hand, and I wouldn't have anywhere to go. We're beginning to see the intelligence of intelligent design here. We took the water, we've got day and night, and now we're going to divide the water, and we've got water above the firmament, water below the firmament. What's in the firmament? Air. That's a crucial part of creation, right? We need air. And so in verse 9, we're going to begin day 3. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Now see, that's smart, because I didn't have dry land. I didn't have any place for the elephant to go. I didn't have any place for the polar bear to go. The whale could have gotten in the water to begin with. I hadn't even thought about that, because I wasn't doing intelligent design. This is intelligent design. Now we've got water, we've got dry land, we've got light, we've got nighttime for rest. And verse 10, it says, God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and God saw that it was good. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. So now we've got trees, we've got grass, we've got fruit, which is crucial because once the animals start showing up, they're going to need something to eat, right? Intelligent design, step by step, going through the process, making the world habitable. And verse 13, or verse 12, the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. When God's involved, it's always good. And I want you to notice that we're dealing with mature things here. It's grass. Have you ever done grass at your house where you spread out the seed and you try to keep the birds off of it and you try to keep it watered and you start seeing little sprouts come up? Well, this was already grass covering the earth. Here's a tree yielding fruit. The tree's already fully mature and it's got fruit on it. The herb is yielding seed. And notice what he says, after his kind, whose seed was in itself, after his kind. Apple trees bearing apples. Pear trees bearing pears. Peach trees bearing peaches. Dill bushes putting out dill. It's always been after his kind. This puts to rest a lot of the questions about how everything came to be. And the evening and the morning were the third day. We're making some tracks now. It took us a while to get through day one, but now we're all the way into the third day. And verse 14 says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. Here comes a question for you. What about all those stars and those planets that are out there? What about those? Could it be that there's life on other planets? Understand something. We're dealing here with God's plan. This is not God's experiment. Well, if it doesn't work out here, we'll go build another one and we'll do it again and we'll try it again. This is not God's experiment. This is God's plan. And it says in verse 14, catch this real close, lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. We can comprehend that. Sunshine, moon, stars. Let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. So what are all those planets out there for? What are all those stars about? Lights, times and seasons. Is there a process whereby the earth continues to progressively move through its cycles, what we would call nature? Yes. Yeah, God set it up. Yeah, there is an ongoing progress that's made in the earth for signs and for seasons, for days and for years. You make a complete rotation around the earth and you start again. You'd make a complete rotation around the sun and you start again. All of that's pretty amazing when you stop to think about it. All of that stuff in place just to support the earth. The earth. And as we get through the study of creation, you're going to see that the pinnacle, the high point of God's creation is mankind. It's not the animals, it's mankind. There's a difference, and we'll see that as we get through this, because we've got this whole system put in place just to support life on the earth. And verse 16, God made two great lights. The greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, to divide the light from the darkness. So there's a systematic day and night, evening and morning. Verse 18, to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness, and God saw that it was good. Have you ever done anything and you kind of had to go back and erase part of it? You know, you're writing along or you're typing along, or Google or Word gives you a spell check. Got an email from a friend the other day, and it had spell checked his name. It had changed the spelling of his own name. God didn't have to go back and correct any mistakes. He did it, He made it, and it was good. And now we're getting down to the 5th day. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and foul birds that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. Now see, he keeps referring to this firmament. This firmament is not the heaven of heavens. It's not the eternal dwelling place of believers. It's the skies. And what comes after the skies, where the sun and the moon and the stars are. So how far does the firmament extend? I don't know. Is this the first galaxy that we're seeing? Is this our galaxy? Does it encompass the whole thing? And we've got water above this firmament. How far does it extend before that water above the firmament is? I don't know. But I do know what is in the firmament. Stars, moon, sun, birds flying in the air. In verse 21, God created great whales. Here it comes. Finally, the thing I did back at the beginning where there was no place to put them. Here we got great whales, every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. So we've got water animals being created. We've got birds being created. And verse 22, God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. You ever been driving along and see those flocks of birds that sway back and forth? And you just think, man, how many birds are there? All flying in unison. How many birds are there? How many fish are there in the sea? Oh, we're running out of food. We're running out of animals. There were animals in the sea are all disappearing. No, they're not. God has managed this earth to sustain life for mankind. Mankind is not the blight upon the earth. Mankind is the pinnacle of God's creation. He's the best thing that ever happened to the earth. And all of these things were put on this earth to provide food, to sustain us, to create the things that are necessary for life. You got the grass, you got the birds, you got the fish in the sea, great whales. I remember listening to a show on the television talking about whales, beautiful whales. And I don't remember what type of whale it is. But they said that for 6 months out of the year, these whales go someplace, and they don't know where these whales are. They don't know where they are for 6 months out of the year. And then whales reappear in the same spot, and then they're gone for 6 months, and they reappear in the same spot. And they don't know where they are. So for 6 months out of the year, they don't know where they are. And it says, but there's 30% less of them. Now, wait a minute. Hold on just a second. You don't know where they go. We've never reached the depths of the sea. There are places where you reach the bottom, but we've never reached the depths of the sea. And we don't know where they are, but there's 30% less of them. Couldn't they be over there, wherever they are, for the 6 months out of the year? Couldn't just, not all of them came back. Some of them stayed over there where they were. And maybe it's different whales. These whales come back. Those whales go and hide for 6 months. Then those whales come back, and these whales go and hide for 6 months. We don't know where they are, but we're sure. We're absolutely sure. We're positive. There's 30% less of them. God said be fruitful and multiply. Fill the waters in the sea. Let the fowl multiply in the earth. And that brings us to the close of the 5th day, and we're going to go ahead and stop there. Running a little long today, but we're going to stop there. I just want to say I appreciate all of the comments. We've gotten a lot of comments, and most of them are pretty good, so that's a plus. And want to remind you to contact us at kolivermin, M-I-N, at gmail.com. That's our direct email. And of course, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a subscribe button. If you subscribe, it will let you know when new videos are posted. And we're trying to do at least one of these a week. And if we start having some demand, then we can increase that. But I think once everybody's busy and going about their daily work, that once a week is going to work out pretty much right for all of us. So let us hear your comments and, of course, your prayer requests. Love to pray for you. I know what my God is capable of doing, and you have needs in your life, difficult times for a lot of people right now. We're much in prayer for our world and our nation and our friends and family and your friends and family going through difficult times. And we'd love to pray for you if you have specific needs that you want us to pray about, specific folks that you want us to pray about. And, of course, let us hear from you, kolivermin, M-I-N, at gmail.com. God bless you.